Well, I'm out today on the Kemen. And I've just realised, I think this is the third video in a row that I'm making while riding the Kemen. And you might be thinking that I'm not riding the Revolts anymore. But I am. It's just the way that it's turned out, really. And I just seem to be making the videos on this bike. And I hadn't actually planned to make a video today. And it's dry, with hints of sunshine. And as we rapidly approach winter, dry sunny days are going to be a rare commodity. I'm not suggesting it's a nice day, not by any stretch. It's cold and it's windy. But I thought, well, while it's not raining, let's take the opportunity to do some filming. But I wanted to ride this bike today. I wanted to give it a little test, because I've done something that I'm not sure about. In fact, I've done two things I'm not sure about. I'd be interested in the comments whether you have any knowledge of these things and whether you think I'm just a bit mad. See, for as long as I've had this bike, which is only a month, 6 weeks, but I wanted to set it up tubeless because I'm a believer in tubeless. When you get the bike, Orbea have given you tubeless valves with it. And they've also taped the rims, which gives you the impression that they think it can be set up tubeless. And I'll be honest, I thought anything mountain bike related, or should I say any mountain bike related tyres, would be tubeless these days. The tyres fitted to this bike are Schwalbe Johnny Watts, and they roll really nicely, especially on hard surfaces like this. And the fact that this bike is quite economical with its battery, I think has something to do with the tyres as well. But I thought I'd better just do a quick check, even though I thought that by now anything mountain bike related in tyres would be tubeless. And a 29 2.4, they're not really a road tyre, are they? But I found it very difficult to find the information. Some say yes, some say no. A visit to the Schwalbe website tells you that they're designed to have tubes in. But it doesn't say you can't run them tubeless. So you start searching around. And it turns out that there's a bit of a disconnect between places like Britain and Australia and America. Because British people tell you, if it doesn't say tubeless on the side, you'd be absolutely insane to even think of it. Whereas in America, they go, we do it all the time. And so I left it. And then last week, inevitably, I had a puncture. And I blamed my brother because he sent me a message and said, have you had any punctures yet? And I said, oh God, now that you've said that, it's going to happen, isn't it? And he said, no, mountain bike tyres are really strong. Well, they're not that strong. And it's really common at this time of year in the area that I live, because all of the hedges are bramble. And at this time of year, the old farmer comes along, trims the hedges with his big machine and leaves all the shit lying in the road. And so people say, oh yeah, tubes are just as easy. Can't be asked. Set them up tubeless. I just change a tube on the side of the road. And I'm afraid I disagree with that. Because I'd rather be setting up tubeless in the warmth of my kitchen than I would in pouring rain on the side of the road. And this particular puncture that I had was something that's happened to me twice before. And the thorn goes through the side of the tread block and into the tyre. And you can't get the thorn out. Even trying to pull it with a pair of pliers, you won't get it out. And if that happens on the side of the road, you could have half a dozen spare tubes. You're still walking home. If you put another tube in, the thorn's going to go straight through it again. Whereas with tubeless, you've got a chance. You might have to pump it up 4 or 5 times on the way home, but you've got a chance of getting home with it. Anyway, so I decided that given that that's happened, I'm going to try and set these tyres up tubeless, even though they're not really supposed to be. I've only done the back one so far, but I'd be interested. Let me know if you think I'm mad. And when trying to press that thorn out, as I say, if you pull it with a pair of pliers, it just snaps off. And then you've got to get the rest of it out. So I tried to press it out with a toothpick. And the first attempt, I missed the thorn. And the toothpick went straight through the tyre. So I thought, they're not that strong then, mountain bike tyres. Anyway, so I decided I would order some tyres, and that's a difficult one because, as I say, these tyres roll really nicely. So I did a search for fast rolling cross-country tyres, and then I looked at the prices, and I decided that the best value for money, maybe because there was a deal on, was the Victoria Mezcals. And so I read a review, and then there's people saying, oh well, you know, problem with a Mezcal is it's great as a rear tyre, it's no good as a front tyre. You should run it as a Mezcal rear Victoria Barzo. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but anyway, put that on the front, that's the combination. Well, it turns out the Barzo was the same price. So I ordered one of them as well. And again, I'd like your comments on that. Have I made the right decision running a mismatched pair of tyres? I mean, I don't do a lot of hardcore off-road riding. Anyway, that's what I've ordered. So I just thought, well, I'll order them up so that if the Johnny Watts don't work very well tubeless, I've got another tyre to put straight on. They were a good deal. £30 a tyre in this day and age, not to be sneezed at, you know. As I've said before, I'm a tight bastard. But, you know, cost of living crisis. Got to be careful with your cash. And you might be thinking, well, if you've got new tyres on order, why bother setting up the old ones tubeless? And again, that comes down to my thrift. I don't want to be throwing away good tyres. So let me know in the comments what you think. And as usual, if you found this video interesting, like and subscribe.